So I lost my dad when I was 12 years old, July 2nd, 2008. He was 54. Happened completely out of the blue, and I was 3,000 miles away, along with my mom and the rest of my siblings.
So the summer going into my sophomore year, on August 13th, 2016, my mom passed away after 4.5 years battling brain cancer. So she was diagnosed my sophomore year of high school, and I guess naively didn't really even ever think that her dying would happen. I kind of always thought that she was invincible. She went through countless treatments, 2 brain surgeries, and she just always seemed to bounce right back.
So I lost my dad 2 months ago on February 2nd, and he died of complications from diabetes. We're not exactly sure what was the final straw, but I was here at Duke when my mom called me the morning of February 2nd, and she informed me of the news, and it was definitely unexpected.
You know, they say Billy Joel has a song, "Only the Good Die Young," and I remember we used to listen to that song. I can't help but kind of think that about him sometimes, because he was so, electric.
Obviously a very terrible and difficult time in all of our lives. And then after she passed, I had to come back to Duke less than 2 weeks later, so that was also incredibly difficult.
So we shared a sense of humor. We were both very much into comedy, and we were both witty people. We loved to joke around, and most of all, he taught me not to take life too seriously. So especially a lesson that he's imparted to me in these circumstances too is just to cope maybe with difficult circumstances like grief with humor. So we had this whole conglomerate of qualities that we shared, and that fostered a special relationship between us.
Yeah, so if you could have people who have never gone through a loss like this understand something about grief and loss, what would you want them to understand?
Probably that it's not a black box, you know? I think a lot of people shy away from it, and they don't want to talk about the negative thing that's happening.
Everyone is scared to talk about it. My friends have been amazing in so many ways in terms of the distractions and just letting me know that they're there for me. But I think that a lot of the times people astray from directly addressing grief and saying to me, how are you doing today? Are you upset? Because they don't want to upset me, or just asking questions about my mom. Anytime parents come up, it gets awkward, and I wish that people knew that it was okay to talk about that, and in fact it would probably help me, and I think a lot of other people like me.
People just don't understand that grief, especially to me, is the hardest in the weeks afterwards, much more so than at the funeral when you're around your siblings and your family members who also get it. And so I think people just do not understand that it comes in complete waves, and most of all just because people who have experienced loss look okay externally, that does not reflect their internal process at all, because if anyone is grieving, they are for sure not okay internally. And so I wish that people understood that, and therefore I wish people were reaching out to me on a weekly basis, or at least a monthly basis, or just checking in with me. So grieving in college has been, I think the hardest part about it is the fact that it doesn't matter if you have a support network if you don't feel like you even have the time to grieve. And I think that's the manifestation of the college experience overall, where there are these more tangible things that you just need to do that have strict deadlines, whereas your mental health is this internal thing that doesn't seem as pressing, and that we tend to just push off because we think that we always have time to hone it, whereas we have an essay due tomorrow. And so college causes you to deprioritize your mental health, and within that, the grieving process in order to focus on other things. And I think it just does a complete disservice to the grieving process, to the point where I don't feel as though I still feel as though I have yet to actually grieve.
And I think that in a weird way, all those distractions were good, because I take my schoolwork very seriously, and I would just hole up in the library and try to focus on my work, and that was sort of an outlet for me to be distracted. So I think part of that was a positive, but with that being said, I think that was also extremely negative for me, because I just bottled up a lot of emotions and never really had the time to process everything that I had been going through. So I just came back right into the Duke world. I mean, everyone here can relate to how stressful Duke is, and then imagine having 2 weeks prior lost your mother, and just not really ever processing that.
There's not a secret recipe to coping, and for everyone it's different. But the most you can do is sort of accept it and live in honor the way that they would want you to.
Yeah, what do you feel like universities or like college spaces could do better for people who have like lost a loved one during college, or like maybe have lost one obviously previously?
I think if they just supported and put some of their own resources behind an organization such as AMF.
For AMF, we are actively moving forward. It's a group that deals with college students' grief and loss. It's Grief Awareness Week right now, so we're holding this event. You can write over there, bucket list item before I die, and I remember when someone you lost, and add a name of someone you lost, and we'll light a candle in their honor.
Well, the one platform I have found that has been very, very helpful has been actively moving forward at Duke, because it is a space where when you walk in there, everyone is there for a purpose, and it is expected that you are going to be talking about this heavy topic, and so it just feels much more acceptable to talk about things, and you feel as though you're not burdening anyone.
This year, AMF came to campus, thanks to Meg, and truly, not just because she's here, it's been an incredible experience for me, a great community to be able to find people that can relate to me and my experiences in some way, and to just have like a built-in time every week to let it all out, and to cry, and to talk, and even to laugh. Doing stuff like this, I think, is really important to reach the larger Duke population and the world as a whole who can't understand it. I don't wish for anyone to be in the position that we're in, but it's also nice that if you are in the position, to know that there's other people going through what you're going through. And I also think that's what AMF has done, is to show everyone that we're not alone. Before AMF, I didn't have a friend that really understood what I was going through, as much as people always try. If people that are watching this aren't in our position, I just hope that you can begin to understand what some other people go through.